Hello, hello, hello. It is another episode of Dating Dilemmas with Lamont White, the gay dating coach. Y'all, I have been enjoying having these conversations with all of these random people that I get to meet, and they share all of their dating dilemmas, which are all unique. What have you all really thought about the last few guests that I've had on? Do you feel like you can relate to them? Are they too far out there? Do you feel like we should be addressing other topics? Well, if you think we should talk about some other stuff, just let me know in the comment section, and then I'll see if I can get a guest to come on to talk about your particular issue. Or you can come on and we'll schedule a time and I'll do a dating coaching session with you, record it so people can talk about your dating dilemma. But if you're like, no, I guess we want to keep it private, I totally understand. But I think you all are going to really, 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 really like this topic today because I'm talking about the gays. Yes, I'm talking about the gays in Atlanta. So today's dating dilemma topic is Atlanta love songs when the music slaps, but the song flops. We're talking about black gay men who are looking to find love who happen to be in the music industry. You know, in Atlanta, everybody is either a producer, a rapper, a dancer. They know somebody in the industry. Tell me I'm lying. Am I lying? Everybody knows somebody's about to drop somebody's name, but I don't want any legal lawsuits. But I think a lot of people, including myself, have actually moved to Atlanta for better opportunities and to find love. So, and people are like, well, there are so many black gay men who are successful, who are handsome. Why can't you find love there? Right? Is there competition there? Do guys like go there and just the lights, the camera of Atlanta takes over? Do guys think, oh, we are bonding, but it's a trauma bond and they probably shouldn't even be together? Do guys feel like they fall in love with the idea of this amazing, handsome guy who's in the music industry and really don't even take the time to see what's behind that and who he actually is? Or do people in Atlanta, are they always looking for the next best thing disguised in, oh, I'm looking for somebody on my level? We're going to talk about it. Okay. I got to start with some data. So I can give you some stats that actually set the tone of our conversation. So let me know what you all think about some of these numbers. So there was a study done in 2023, and they found that 71% of black gay men in Metro Atlanta reported difficulties forming long-term relationships due to mistrust, hookup culture, and image-based attraction. 71, that's a lot of people. Another study said 1 in 3 black gay creatives said they have experienced being ghosted or emotionally manipulated by men who first admired their success. So y'all looking for the glitz, the glam, but not here. So, Grindr, they do some reports. A Grindr study in 2022, they reported masculinity, politics, and status anxiety were 2 of the biggest blocks for black gay men in seeking real intimacy in Atlanta, Georgia. Interesting, Grindr. I get the masculinity, politics. Now, the status anxiety, are you talking about social economic status? Or are you talking about HIV status? What y'all talking about? If somebody knows, tell me. I know y'all like, Lamont, stop talking. I'm sorry. I'm going to bring our guest on. Tremel is an amazing music artist. He's been on my Shoot Your Shot Wednesday dating show. He's been in Atlanta at some of my speed dating events. You will see him hopping, bopping around in Atlanta. So I'm going to bring him on. Give him a warm welcome. Hey, Tremel.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing over there?
I'm doing good. It's warm over here.
It's hot Atlanta, and it's
Hot
summertime now.
Yes. Well, no, it's still spring. It still feels like spring.
It's that's subjective. I'm from Pittsburgh. This is hot down here, but y'all know. Where are you from, Tramel?
I'm from Georgia.
See,
I'm the last one.
yeah, yeah. So this is normal for you.
Yes.
Well, look, tell people a little bit about who you are, your background, your music. We want to get to know your story. Okay.
Okay, so I'm Atlanta born. I was born at Grady Memorial Hospital. Grady,
Whew,
baby. I was born in 1986. Y'all do the math.
whew.
Um, I'm an 80s baby.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up when you still went outside and played. I grew up before social media.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I make music about love and relationships, and mostly my love and relationships. And so yeah, I've been doing music for about 5 years now. I also work in banking, so I have 9 to 5, and I have my side career. I've been on reality shows. I've done like a lot of stuff. Like I've been in movies. I've acted. I've done podcasts. Been to your speed dating events where I met
Mm-hmm.
a nice man who they didn't go too far, but I tried. I had a good time.
So I think if people are watching, they're probably saying, Tramel, you are the typical Atlanta black gay man who has a 9 to 5, who's successful, but also has tapped into other streams of income and their creative sides. Where like you're probably booked and busy and all over the place, just trying to make a difference, but like exploring life.
Yeah, absolutely. I find myself being a lot more busy these days. This is why this is like my third attempt to get on here with you. I'm so
We
sorry.
tried to tape and record a couple times, yes, but
Yeah, I'm so sorry. It just I'd be like, "Ooh," you
you've
know.
made it. Welcome
I
to
mean,
Dating Dilemmas.
I'm
Welcome.
so glad to be here because I really need to talk to you.
Well, definitely, let's talk. So, but before we get into like your dating experience, tell us about your type of music that you produce. Give us like the theme and what kind of draws you to music.
So, what drew me to music was it was the most effective form of communication for me when it came to my vulnerable feelings.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
I always make music about like whatever I'm going through whether it comes to any type of relationship with my friends. I made songs about that. I made songs about of course dating and how hard it is and sex,
Hmm.
how easy that is, and and just making people feel good for the most part sexually. I made songs about that and just the regular pop your stuff type of rap music. I've made that before, so
Hmm.
just music about anything that I'm feeling in that particular time.
So, would you say your music is kind of like a diary for you?
It absolutely is. And if you listen to all of it in order, you'll see my whole love life in like chronological song form from my first project to
Hmm.
my last. So,
Tell us the evolution and the themes. I know people, if you want to listen to Tremel's music, just look in the description. I have all the YouTube links there, the Spotify, it's all there. But um, for people who haven't listened to your music yet, tell us what would be the themes or things that we might see about your dating journey from like the beginning all the way to now.
so you will see, well, from the beginning, the very beginning, I said my first single was called Single because I was single at the time. And I
Single
actually
in the
got
streets. Yes, yes.
single in the streets. And so that song is about like having a good time. So I
Mhm.
started there and then I went into when I actually was in a relationship, when I got into a relationship right after I made that song and
Mhm.
just the ins and outs of that relationship. And that carried me over to now with my last project when we broke up and going through the healing phases of that and all the things that went in between were falling out with friends and losing just my happy place within inside and my confidence, my ego was broken. So I made songs about all of those things. Like I literally went from being single to engaged to single again.
Hmm.
So I
So
found love and I thought I had it and now I don't have it and now I'm single again. So
interesting, interesting. So what I did hear, Tremel, is that you were engaged before.
mhm.
Tell me about that engagement, the relationship, how long that was ago.
So that engagement ended around the end of 2023.
Oh.
I proposed to him in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those things where it was like I did one of those last ditch effort, like this
Mm-hmm.
will save my relationship if I propose to you type things, because I knew that it wasn't working. Like
Mm-hmm.
deep, deep, deep down inside, I knew it wasn't working, and I thought like this will fix it. I was
Yeah.
one of those people that was just fighting for the relationship, and I knew it was over, but kind of like
Well, a lot of people, thanks for sharing that, because a lot of people can't even admit that, but they
yeah,
feel like either having a baby, having a threesome, proposing, that buys them more time to fix the relationship.
yeah. It bought me 2 more years
Two
of
more years.
tragic.
How were those 2 years though? Like, how were they?
They were the most depressing years of my life. They it broke down my confidence. I became so small. Like I became so small inside. I became like
Mhm.
a shimmer or like a slither of what I used to be. Like I used to be fun loving. I used to be joyous. I completely cut myself off from everyone. I
Mhm.
stopped talking. I stopped being
Mhm.
joyous. I stopped smiling. I stopped going out. I just went to work and went home
Mhm.
and I pretty much sat by myself because he didn't even want to hang out with me. So I just made that my whole routine for like 2 years straight,
Yeah, yeah.
for the most part.
I will tell you, when people try to put a band-aid on a problem that's like gushing with blood, it
Yeah,
only makes it only makes the person who tried to fix it with the band-aid feel less of who they are.
yeah,
When I say less of who they are, because they know that that's a last ditch effort and they are compromising and doing things that they would not normally do just to
mhm,
hold together a relationship where typically both of the people know that this relationship has run its course, but
yeah.
they're trying to make it work. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
found myself lying to myself. I was like, oh, and this is might be funny, but it was really like the truth. I was like saying stuff to myself like, oh, I don't need to have sex this year. Oh my God. I was like, I'm okay. I'm just sexually uninvolved. Like I am fine. Like it was really, really bad. I was literally denying myself just like all kinds of happiness. So I was just like, no, I don't need to hang out with my friends. I don't need to talk to anybody. I don't need to, all I need is make this work, deep, deep, deep inside. I never like actually verbalized it, but that's the way I, acted. I just went home and I was always present. You want to hang out with me? I'm here. I'm down for everything. Like, let's
Mhm.
hang out. But it just never
Yeah.
really happened. So,
Yeah, I've seen that whenever I have had counseling sessions with guys that I do private professional dating coaching sessions with, where they cut off their friends, they cut off family members, or they might have minimum conversation with them.
yeah,
Like you said, you didn't have sounds like you didn't have sex with them for a whole year.
for the most part, we had sex like 3 times.
Right. So you're not sexually, satisfied emotionally. You're not feeling like you're growing and thriving.
Yeah.
Just to hold on to something. What what was the reason that you held on to it for so long, or you wanted to?
I think a part of me was, I think, so I wrote a song about it.
Yeah, so I wrote a
And
song
I
about
think
it. Like,
the song was called Everything. And literally, I feel like I was like, this is it for me. And I'm like, this is
mm,
it. I don't know what to do after this. Like, I literally am giving you everything that I have. I've given you all the love, all the
mm,
understanding, all the compassion, all the like everything, every little piece of me that I could
mm,
think of to give
mm,
to you,
mm.
I've given. So if this does not work, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's like,
Were you trying to find your self worth in him?
I was. I was
Mm,
trying to find my self worth there, and I was also trying to sustain it because I was just
yeah,
like, if this doesn't work, I just
yeah,
wasted all my time and my resources and my energy and my love. Like,
yeah, yeah,
but I think it was like more so like my ego fighting with myself. Like, I can make this relationship work. I can keep someone. I can make this work, and it just
yeah,
really not.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was not it, and
yeah.
it just came to a point where I felt so low because there was things happening around me that people were telling me, of inappropriate conversations, not necessarily, I don't think it was like physical cheating, but more like emotional
Mhm,
cheating.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of like, and the person that the last straw was this person who like didn't have any money. No offense. Didn't have any
Mm-hmm.
money. Didn't barely have a place to stay. And I'm like, oh my god, this is just. You'll talk to this person. You will
Oh,
have sexual conversations with
oh,
this person, whether it be small or big or nothing happened, but because they all tell me nothing happened, but the
listen, gay
conversation
men,
happened.
men, not even just gay men, but men, period. They will cheat with the lowest, the bottom of the barrel. It has nothing to do with what they look like, how much money they have. It really boils down to convenience.
Yeah. And I was like, I cannot even compete with this.
Yeah.
Like emotionally, I'm like exhausted. So that was the end of our relationship at that point. But then I had to, we were living together and the lease was renewed. So I had to live with him for a whole year,
Woo,
a whole
woo.
nother year broken up. So that was a whole nother mess within itself. Of course, we weren't even together, but it just made it
Yeah.
harder to like navigate, you know?
That's why I always advise people who are in the dating phase to go ahead and get a 1 bedroom apartment that is based on one of you all's income. That way, if things break up, fall apart, one of you all can move the hell out of there and there's no problem. Like, oh, yeah, just take my name off the lease. You got this, right?
Yeah,
And if it lasts more than 12 months, you all save money and then you upgrade. But that first year, get that 1 bedroom, it'll
I
be fine.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. And I also hear you, Tremel, is that listen, people, just like straight people, gay men feel the pressure to be in a long-term relationship. We feel, this push that there's something wrong with us if we can't sustain a relationship, if we're not married. We feel like just like some of the women, they're like, oh, I can't keep a man. Society looks at us the same way, and we will stay in situations much longer that we need to be in just because of societal pressure. So listen, if it's time to go, if you see the writing on the wall, get out of there. Like run for Dodge. Get
It
out
was
of there.
lathered across the wall, and I was just walking past, like,
Closing your eyes. Like I don't want to
closing
look
my
at it.
eyes.
No,
Didn't
no,
want to see.
no. Ugh. Well, so since you are in the music industry, I want to do a special game for you, okay? And this is a rapid pace game where I want you to give me your response to some of these types of behaviors or red flags. And
Okay,
I want you to tell me, is this a banger? Like, I want to put this on my playlist, I'm gonna keep it, or is this a breakup? This is like cut it off. This is no breakup, like done. Okay.
gotcha.
All right. All right. All right. So he reposts your music, but never texts you back.
Ooh, he'll repost my music but never text me back.
Yeah.
Um, you know what? I would keep that.
Oh my! I'm no judgment. My bad. My judgment came out. Tell me why. Why would you?
So I will say this: in my past life, I would have wanted the texting back uh versus the posting my music.
Mhm.
But like if you posted my music, hey, I'm still going to win. Like you're making sure that I win at the end of the day. You care enough to at least post my music. You don't have to text me back. Just keep posting the music.
Okay. Okay. I got you. I got another one. I'm taking notes over here, Tremaine. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So you've been dating 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
and he's still trying to figure things out.
No, you gotta go.
Hmm. You're like, no, 3 months. You should know what you want.
Well, I'm not going to necessarily say you should know what you want, but you should have a good idea of, how you feel about me at least.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Mm-hmm.
say that even if that's just friendship or whatever the case may be, we're not going to keep, oh, I don't know. I think I like you. No, it's been 3 months. It's been like 12 weeks. Like, come on now. Do not play with me.
My mother says, "Piss or get off the pot." 3 months.
Yeah, like I actually had a rule, and that's how my last situation made it. And I was like, if you make it past 3 months, I'm like, you might be a viable candidate to look at. Like you've
Mm-hmm.
been consistent for 3 months. Hey, why not?
Yeah, doesn't mean you're in a full relationship or you're married, but 3 months, I felt like that's enough time for you to say, oh, I want to continue getting to know you
Yeah.
romantically. We are not friends. Like, here's what I need to see to take it to the next level. That
Yeah.
level of adult, clear communication.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. All right. Here's another one. Um, he says he loves you, but always has his phone faced down.
Oh well. These are hard because there's like I don't know. There's not like there are caveats for me because I put my phone face down because I don't want the distraction of
Mm-hmm,
it lighting up and me feeling like I have to grab it. That's
mm-hmm,
why I do it, not because I'm hiding anything, but because
mm-hmm.
I want the phone face down so you know that I'm paying attention.
But you ain't never seen the phone face up.
But you ain't know. Oh no. Well, you got to go.
You don't know if it's an iPhone, it's an Android. I think it's
No,
always
maybe
down.
I
You
say
know, you
I
got
would
a
like to
case.
give you the grace of saying that maybe you're paying attention to me. You're trying to give me your undivided attention. You're telling me, Tremel, I love you. But if you just got your phone down because you're scared I'm gonna see your pieces, or you see that phone light up, because I'm not a looker, but I do notice like when you be all
Mhm.
up in your phone. So yeah, you gotta go if you just doing that just to be hiding something, or you just yeah.
Okay. Okay. Here's another one. He's your biggest supporter until you're shining more than him.
Yeah, you gotta go. I already had that.
Woo!
I was doing my jam. I was in a relationship. I was doing my jam, but then I got a little too popular, and then all of a sudden, you flirt a lot, and you're too out there, and you're too this. So I'm sitting up here shrinking myself to make myself smaller, so I can build you up, and I should not have done that. So
Mm-mm,
yeah,
mm-mm,
I want to
mm-mm.
shine with somebody next to me, and I want you to shine. I want you to do your thing. I'm not gonna
Mhm,
dim nobody's light. I want you. I'll be in the front row everywhere.
mhm. Love it, love it. Here's another. The last one. Okay, he's nice and private, but quiet about you in public.
He's nice and private, but quiet about you in public.
Hmm.
Ugh, that's a hard one. I like a little bit. I like privacy, not secrecy. So I
Hmm.
think I'll keep that. I think that's fine
Okay,
as
okay,
long as we
okay.
know what's up. And because I don't be wanting to bring people around because I have trauma. So that's just
Hmm. Okay, listen. Okay, look. Thanks for playing this game. I took some notes.
yeah.
I guess wonder, like, in your current like dating experience, like, what are some things that you're finding challenging because you're in Atlanta, amazing, gorgeous, successful black gay men here. What are the challenges that you're facing?
Finding single people for one,
Mm-hmm,
single people who because I do run across a lot of guys who are in relationships who
mm-hmm,
want to have extracurricular activities, which I'm
mm-hmm.
not a
But they
proponent
say
of.
they say Atlanta is full of single people, not couples. They're like everybody's single.
No, they be lying. They be lying.
Yeah.
They're lying. They
Mm-hmm.
say they're single, but like, ask them who loves them.
Woo! That's a good
So
question.
who? I was like, you're single, but do the person that you talk to know that they're single too? I
Look,
don't think so.
look, look. Does the person you're talking to, they know they're single as well?
Those people that you
Hmm.
talk to, do they think they're single too? Do they think that y'all not in a relationship?
Who is in love with you?
Yeah, who's
Hmm.
in love with you? You might not be in love with nobody, but who's in love with you? But
Hmm.
honestly, I'm not one of those people that harps on that type of stuff. Like,
Hmm.
I think dating is healthy.
Hmm.
Like, as long as you're not in a relationship, like I don't say it's date around to
Hmm.
figure out who you like. Now, I'm not saying sleep around, but
Hmm.
date around to figure out who you like, and but dating has been hard. Communication is hard. People
Hmm.
like to lie a lot
Hmm.
about just where they are mentally, where they want to go. As far as relationship,
Hmm.
friendship, if it's just a friend zone, they don't like to say that fast. They
Hmm.
just like to lead you along, and I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just it's hard.
Yeah. So I thought it was strange that, like, when the question I asked you, like, would you rather um the guy post about your music, like repost about your music instead of texting you back? And I want you to talk a little bit more about that because typically when you're in a relationship with someone, you want them to communicate with you.
Mhm.
And particularly because you're in the music industry and you have to like weed out some people who have this fantasy of who you are, who might want to date you because of, oh, you're doing your music thing and it's right here, right now. But next year it might, go somewhere else. Like,
Mhm.
and so I thought it was strange that you would prefer the person to repost your music instead of actually sending you a text message and communicate with you, because I heard you say communication is a big thing.
Communication is a big thing, but my thing is if that's the choices,
Hmm.
if all I'm gonna get from you is a repost,
Hmm.
I already know that you're not the one for me. And
Yeah.
usually,
Hmm.
because the fact that you even asked me that, it was like I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick. I at the end of the day, I have to pick me because you texting me. If you're not gonna support my music, that's fine as long as you know what I do. I actually want to date somebody who does not necessarily consider themselves a big fan. I want them to be a supporter. Of course, you like,
Right.
but I want somebody to like me for me, yes.
Mhm.
But if you're really just like gonna harp on my music and just post that and you're not gonna text me back, that's fine. I'll take that. I'll take that, but I'm not gonna actually date you. So
Right. So for the moment, you're going to choose the bag and then later X him out.
yeah, you gotta go.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
a trick question though, because like at the end of the day, I gotta take care of myself a little bit.
No, I don't think it was not a trick question, but it was a challenging question. I think
Yeah.
most people who are in your industry and in a place of where a lot of single people are, it's the tug of war of like, hey, I do want you to be my cheerleader and support my business, my endeavors, but I want you to communicate like, and like, right. And
Yeah.
so it's the balance of showing up, appreciating people for what they do, but knowing when someone is really a fan and not really someone who's trying to find love.
But that could be like a double-edged sword too, because at the end of the day, somebody could be texting you and just texting you about themselves and
Mhm.
telling you, oh, I'm responding to you and all this other. I've been responded to, but then
Mhm.
also there are people who have been responding to me but never posted any of my music or even know that I do music. So you're really actually not trying to get to know me. At least
Mhm.
the person who's reposting the music knows and keeps up with that particular part of my
Mhm.
life, which is a big part of my life,
Mhm. Mhm.
versus somebody who's just texting me to tell me, "Oh, how's your day? I'm doing really good," and all this other da 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 da. Then they're not even trying to hang out; they're just responding to be responding.
Right.
You
Right.
didn't say that they were quality text messages. You just said they were just text.
Text back. It was just a text back. It was just
It's
a
just a
text back.
text back. I don't,
Yeah.
text back is cute, but if we just texting about what you eat today for lunch, I don't.
Mm-mm. Pick the phone up and call or FaceTime. Like do a
Yeah,
video chat. Yeah.
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 Let's call. Just call
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
You can't text me back in the heat of the moment or for well don't go a whole a day because that's not okay.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, tell me, like, when you look at like different relationships that you've been in, when have you felt the most vulnerable, like the most open and the most safe? Like, tell me about like the dynamics of that relationship.
When I felt the most safe, I've only had two relationships in my entire life,
Okay.
and in neither relationship did I feel safe. I can't even really say that I was in love. I think I was in love with the idea of love. I loved
Mm.
the person, but I
Uh-huh.
don't think I was in love with just the whole experience, because it was very the first one happened when I was like 22,
Hmm.
and the last one just recently passed, and I thought that I was in a better place mentally to like, oh, I'm grown, I can take
Hmm.
this, I can
Hmm. Hmm.
get over it.
Hmm.
Oh baby.
Yeah.
So I think I think love is just really really something I can't define as
Mm.
something I've ever really truly experienced. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I have, but I
Hmm.
can't say that it's been a sustainable feeling
Yeah.
that I can put my finger on.
Yeah. I will tell you once you experience, and thank you for being transparent and honest, because I know a lot of people who write about dating and love. You're supposed to be the one who has experienced true love and true heartbreak. And they're like, oh, well, you haven't, right? So some people put a facade on, but you're like, no, I really haven't, experienced true love. I think once you experience that healthy type of love, oh my goodness, you know it. Like you absolutely, you shine better, you push more, you give more. It like pushes you to another level that you're like, oh my God, I should have tried this earlier. Like I should have found someone who actually appreciates you for who you are. And I will tell you, the most people who find love, the ones who really find true love, is they don't give a damn about all that superficial stuff.
Yeah.
They can care less. It's icing on the, on the cake, but it's really about who at the core of yourself. Who are you?
Yeah.
And do you see me? Like really see me? And can you rock with this? Like, do you appreciate this? Do you want me to change? Because I'm not changing. They're like, no, I want you to be the best version of yourself. But what I see is what I get, and they love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can say that you're right. And I think I'll know what love really feels like, because the problem with me is, and I can take my own accountability.
Mm.
I've never truly, in the two relationships, I've never truly been my full authentic self throughout the
Mm.
whole relationship. I've
Mm.
never been, I've never vocalized my frustration because I was afraid. I've
Mhm.
never been like, standing in my own, confidence in my own. I was just always shrinking myself to make sure that I was accommodating. And I hated
Yeah.
that person. I hated who I was in those relationships. It was like
Whew.
suffocating.
Yes. So what
So
do you want to tell yourself? What do you want to tell yourself like before you get into your next relationship?
I want to tell myself to see, and that's the problem. Like, I don't want to compromise anything about myself, and I'm
Mhm.
afraid of what that would look like for a relationship. I don't think I am able to. I don't know if I will be able to do it. Like, compromise for any reason.
Listen. In any healthy relationship, you never compromise.
Right.
You collaborate.
Collaboration.
You hear me? Take notes,
Collaborate.
people, in the comment section. Say collaborate if you're watching this,
Collaborate.
okay? You collaborate. You're like, what does that mean? Is you both bring everything to the table, and you both make sure you both win.
Right.
It's a win-win for you, it's a win-win for me. I should not have to sacrifice. I shouldn't have to shrink myself. I shouldn't have to deny myself something that is um, critical to who I am to
Yeah.
sustain a relationship.
Yeah, because like I said, I was a shell of the person who I wanted to be.
Mhm.
I was very, very small, very meek, very quiet, and most people didn't even recognize me. They was just like, "Yeah, this is not Tramel. This is not the Tramel I know in this relationship."
Mm.
So,
Your friends will tell you. Your friends will tell you, I don't like the type of person who you are in that relationship.
yeah,
Not they don't like the guy who you're dating, but they don't like how you show up in life, and just they're like, mm-mm, this is
I
not
had that
you.
happen to me. They didn't tell me though.
Oh
They told my mother.
my
And
goodness.
you don't tell your mama your business. So
Oh.
my mama sat on that for months until I told her. I was like, "Hey, the relationship is over." She said, "I know." I was like, "How do you know?" She's like, "Well, such and such told me that, he didn't like when you was with that guy, and that relationship was just really turning out to be really bad, and he didn't like how he was treating you." I'm like, that was taken away from me. I didn't want to talk about that with my mother. Like, so I had to stop being friends with him because,
Oh,
you cannot do that to your friends. You cannot.
I know the answers to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, Tramel. If your friend had told you and gave you that feedback during that situation, what would you have done with it?
I would have taken it as, thank you for, thinking of me. If I need help, I will definitely reach out. Um, but I had to handle it on my own. Like, I had to handle it the best way. And I do know if you're uncomfortable with being around us as a situation,
Mhm.
I'll definitely make sure that I keep that to a minimum. Just like I did for him when he had a problem with a person he was talking to, and he was crying on my shoulder. I never cried on his shoulder. That was the thing.
Mhm.
I never
Mhm.
really cried on his shoulder. So him
Yeah.
using what little he knew to talk about it to somebody who did not know anything, my mother,
Mhm.
it was kind of
Mhm.
a sense of betrayal there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I, listened to him about his relationship, and I never judged. I never said anything. I
Mhm.
never talked about the guy. He even said he was talking to the guy again after the guy did something completely unforgivable, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I just supported him. I said, hey, I think you deserve better, but I'm going to support you. I'm not going to judge,
Yeah.
but he was
Yeah.
very judgmental, and it was kind of like disheartening because
Yeah.
that's not what I would have done to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess you can't be, you can't expect yourself out of other people, I guess.
Agreed. And I will tell you, a really good friend, no matter how they say it, if you're in a place when you are married to a toxic relationship where you're just like, I'm closing my eyes to all the signs, a
Mhm.
good friend can give you feedback with a whole bunch of sugar and honey on it and everything. Guess what you gonna do? You're gonna still make an excuse, right?
Yeah.
So there's probably nothing your friend could have said to help you with that situation. I think it would have only taken for you to be at a space where you're like, hey friend, can we talk? This is what I'm going through. What do you think? Like,
Right.
until you initiate the give me feedback, you're not gonna listen to it if you're in that place mentally.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
don't tell my mama.
But don't tell my mama, please.
Don't tell
Hmm.
my mama. Don't tell my mama, not tell me.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, listen, let's give some dating advice to some of the black gay men who live in Atlanta about falling in love. Okay,
Okay. Oh, you
so
want me to give some, or you gonna give?
I'm gonna give some dating advice. One
Okay.
of the things I will say, this is the biggest advice that I give to black gay men who are intentionally looking for love. If you're looking for hookups, whatever, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people who are trying to find love. Okay.
Yes.
One of the things I will say is that the grass is not always greener on the other side. You should appreciate what is right in front of you. I think people see that there are many options here, and they may have something that is absolutely wonderful and compatible for them, but they're looking for the next best thing because they're like, oh, he makes six figures, he's 6 feet tall, you know, he a top, but I want him to. That's what y'all want, right? That's what y'all want. He got his own house, his own car, but I just want him to be a little bit more masculine and a little bit more slim. So I'm gonna play him and I'm gonna go look for somebody else.
Lord.
What am I speaking correctly, Tremel? What am I saying?
Oh, that's been my experience this whole time. Like
Mhm.
these guys are
Mhm.
always looking for somebody better. They're always looking for the next best thing. I'm gonna tell you something funny. Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
I was dating two guys, not around the same time, but like I went on a date with one, and I was actually really heavily talking to another, and they both kind of like ghosted me around the same time. Well, the first guy, we just went on one date, and then he kind of like disappeared or whatever. And the other guy I was periodically talking to over some months on months on months. I ran into the other guy like out and at the park, and I was like, "Hey, you ghosted me." He was like, "Oh no, I didn't." And then we talked a little bit more, like texting or whatever.
Mhm.
Then he disappeared again. I was like, "Okay, well." And the other guy was like, he disappeared, and I was just like, "Dang, both of them just gone."
Mhm.
And so one day, I hung out with the other guy, and he said, "Oh, I'm dating somebody now." I said, "That's great, congratulations."
Mhm.
I said it's really nice. And then one day I was at the park and I saw that guy who was dating somebody else.
Mhm.
Then I saw the other guy that had ghosted me like after our one date,
Mhm.
and they're dating. They're in a full blown relationship. So it just was they were just looking for each other. I mean,
But here's the thing though, dating is a process, and you might date someone and you find out you're not compatible, so you end it. However, I think it's fine for you to be a damn adult and say, hey, I'm no longer interested. And you can give the person a reason, or you can say, hey, I'm no longer interested. I think we can just be associates, or we ain't got to talk no more. It's that level of communication that I think people have not mastered. And the problem that people will have, because people are like, Lamont, I don't owe people that. The people who can't communicate properly, they take that same behavior into a relationship.
Yeah.
Because if you can't have uncomfortable conversations with someone you were trying to just get to know in the dating phase, how do you have uncomfortable conversations with somebody you're so enamored with and you're trying to impress? You gonna lie. You go communication's gonna be off. So
Yeah.
yeah. My other dating tip I would say to, black gay men here in Atlanta, don't let the guys over attention to your success, your music, your accolades, your degrees, your awards. Don't let his over involvement and, interest in that overshadow some of his red flags. Like there are guys who are clearly not compatible for you or have some things that they need to work on, but they're so impressed with you and putting you on this pedestal and you feel
Great.
great because of what they're giving you, words of affirmation, love language. You eat that up, but you forget that there's some other things going on with him that just does not make him compatible for you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what my ex did. He would like he knew that the best way to get me to shut up and not appreciate and not look at what he used to do or the problems that I had was to
Mhm.
be just, oh, I posted your music. That'll shut you up. Like, I went to
Woo!
one of your shows and you say I don't support you and you say I don't spend time with you.
Yeah.
I went to one of your shows and I was screaming. I'm your biggest fan. I scream the loudest in the crowd. I'm like,
Mm,
but you're
mm,
not having sex with me.
mm. Right. You can join the fan club. Like,
Like,
yeah. Yeah.
you don't even go to the movies with me no more.
A mess. A mess. Okay, so my last dating advice for single black gay men who are looking for love, who are successful, is don't settle just because you're lonely. Ask yourself, am I settling? Am I entertaining this person because I am lonely? If you're lonely, this is not the guy. You want to be with a guy because you desire, listen to this, because you desire to pour into him,
Yeah.
not what you can get from him. Y'all are mistaking love with being bored, lonely, and horny. I say that all the time. You all don't know when your heart is saying, no, this is it, or I desire to be in relationship with somebody.
Facts. That's all I got to say. That's why I'm still single now. It's like I have not wanted to settle for somebody just because I knew I wasn't in the space to talk to anybody like for the past like year or so. Um, just now getting back to a confident place and now trying to figure out like how to move forward through dating. I've of course been on dates, but
Yeah.
I'm not settling for piddles.
You did.
There have been some people who wanted to be in a relationship with me, but they were crazy. I'm like,
Yeah.
you don't have a stable place to stay, but you want to be in a relationship?
Like go work on that and then come back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't come back because
Yeah.
the fact that you even tried to do that is a red flag for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Embrace your loneliness. Embrace it. It'll push you to higher heights that you'll be so surprised. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So before I let you go, Tramel, this has been a great conversation. But before I let you go, I want you to manifest something. What is something that you want to exist to happen right now? One thing you want to call, put into the atmosphere that you want to occur now.
I want to consistently have the courage to be vocal about my likes and dislikes and what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be steadfast and not just bend to everybody else's whim. I want to continue to be strong
Mm-hmm.
in or out of a relationship in any dating situation. That's all I want.
Listen, it's gonna happen, and I will tell you if you practice that, like literally, and I know people say this is weird, Lamont, but practice saying what you want in a relationship. Like when you're at the park by yourself at home, practice what you saying what you want, and then also practice developing some of those relationships with just friends.
Yeah.
It's a red flag if a man ain't got friends.
Well,
If
it
he
is
if
a red flag if they got friends, but I also say it's a red flag if you're dating your friends.
Oh yeah, y'all all sleep
But
with
I
each other.
mean, dating their friends. I'm not saying like actually literally dating your friends. I'm saying if you're talking to a man and they get literally everything that they could need emotionally from their friends except for a little bit of sex, that might not be the relationship for you because they're going to be more invested in those friends than in a relationship.
Right. He has to have space in his heart to
Yeah.
welcome you in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Jamel, thank you so much for coming on the show. Awesome conversation. Tell folks where they can find you, learn more about your music.
You can follow me at IAM_TRAMEL Tramel on all streaming, on all social media platforms, and Tramel TRAMEL. Follow my music on all streaming platforms, and just look me up, listen to my good stuff, hit me with some messages, tell me what you think. I'm an open book. I'm very friendly, not too friendly, but I'm very friendly.
Thank you so much, Tramel. Listen,
Thank
we'll
you.
we'll catch up, and I want to hear all about your manifestation, about communicating, finding love. There are good things going to happen for you.
I'm about to go on a date right now. I'll tell you about it.
Yes. All right. Goodbye. Have a good one. Okay, you all. What did you all think about that conversation in the comment section? I know you all talk about Atlanta like Atlanta is like the only city or in the world where you're like, oh no, it's a cesspool. There's so much piss in the dating pool. I would never, y'all. This is what y'all say. I would never go to Atlanta to find love. It's possible, people. It is possible. I will tell you that there might be more options here in Atlanta. It's really more about how you're finding love. What strategies are you using to find guys? If you're going to the same bar all the time to find a guy that's not working, you might want to change your strategy. Okay. You might want to hire a dating coach, a matchmaker. You might want to go to the gay church. You might want to go to the gay group at your job. There are a lot of different ways that you can find guys that, your normal technique is not working. All right. I'm done. I will see you all next time with Dating Dilemmas. Again, like, share, and comment, and let me know what you all think about this episode.
Mr. So and so made it.